his alleged attempt to prevent ENP from paying its debt to Merchant Bank and his involvement in the transaction, the president said he could have usurped executive powers in that regard, but he did not. ENP, a company owned by the president's brother, owes Merchant Bank millions of cedis, and reports have indicated the president might have intervened to prevent payment of the debt.
No intervention was made. At no time have I used executive power to try and influence Merchant Bank to do anything. After all, I became president in July. I could have influenced it, I could have dismissed the Merchant Bank board, I could have done things using executive power. I didn't do that. And so I have not played any role that conflicts in interest, that has conflict of interest. If you owe a bank, you must pay. And so engineers and planners must pay their debt to Merchant Bank, as everybody else who owes Merchant Bank. And I want to urge Merchant Bank and SNET to put in a task force to retrieve their debts. Because if we continue to run our banks like this, where are we going to get credit to give to the business community? The reason why credit is expensive in Ghana is because of bad debts. Whether it's engineers and planners, whether it's Abin or high enterprises, if you owe a bank, go and pay. And so let SNET and Merchant Bank take steps to recover their monies.
Other questions from various media personnel touched on developments on JIDA, SADA and SUBA investigations after news emerged there were shady deals in these public-private partnerships. The president said institutional weaknesses are to blame for delays in actions against persons involved.
We delayed in putting the legislative framework in place and putting in place the systems of accountability and transparency. And so while they were commanding huge contracts in terms of signing with service providers, they didn't have the institutional capacity to monitor and ensure accountability in those projects. That was the underlying weakness. And so we've taken the bold step of working on it. I asked the AG's department and EOCO to work on it. They prepared some dockets for prosecution. They've kept updating me on a fortnightly basis. And I'm sure that soon we'll see, some action on JIDA. But even the Attorney General has called the service providers who were paid, those monies, and has entered into agreements with them to refund the monies over a period of time. So I've received the report for SADA, and some instructions have gone out to retrieve some monies. And so the Attorney General is going to be working on that. And we'll take the steps that are necessary to ensure that the good people of Ghana's money is not squandered frivolously.
Summing up Ghana's fight against corruption, President John Mahama said his government's focus for now is to tighten the loopholes which allow people to take advantage of the system. For Joy News, Gifty Andopia, Flagstaff House.